Good morning, children. Welcome back. Today we are introducing another term of accounting, that is assets, and discussing the types of assets also. So, this is our class 2. So, let's start. Before starting our today's term, we just recollect our previous terms, what we already discussed in our previous class, right? What are they? Capital, drawings, cash and credit purchases, creditors, cash and credit sales, debtors, business and IT principal, liabilities, and types of liabilities like current and non-current liabilities. Right? These many terms we already completed. Now, just see our next and important one of the accounting term, that is assets. What is an asset? An asset is something containing economic value and it has future benefit. An asset can often generate cash flows in the future, such as a piece of machinery, a land, and equipments like that. Right? We know that we all are having our personal assets like our home, our car, our investments like fixed deposit, etc. etc. These all are our personal assets, isn't it? The same way, the business also having their assets. What is an asset? In simple way, we can say that an asset is something useful or valuable that we are having. Yeah, asset is a support for the business. When we call a person an asset, what do you mean by that? It means the person is really useful. He is really valuable or it's helpful also, right? Like as children are asset for their parents. This is a common statement, right? Sahara. Children are the assets for their parents. Support. The children are the support for their parents, right? So that is why they are called assets. Clear? Now let's see. We can divide assets mainly into three. What are they? First one is non-current assets, second one is current assets, and third one is fictitious assets. Today we are going to learn only two categories, that is non-current assets and current assets. Fictitious assets we will learn later because for understanding fictitious assets we have to learn so many points here, so many terms here, transactions related with the accounting. So that is why we will learn fictitious assets later only. So let's come back. Our first point is non-current assets. The word non-current that we already discussed in our earlier class, right? What do you mean by non-current? Non-current means it's something long-term, right? It's a long-term process. The same way here also, non-current asset means long-term investments or assets whose value is not usually realized within an accounting period. Let's see the example of non-current assets. The main example is fixed assets. What do you mean by fixed assets? Fixed assets are long-term assets that a company has purchased and is using for the production of its goods and services. For example, land. Why we are purchasing a land? We have to utilize the land for our business purpose, not only for 1 year, right? Whenever the business is running there, we need the land also, right? So that is a long-term process. Like as machineries, whatever equipment or machineries we are required for the business, for running a business, that all machineries are our assets. That is also fixed assets because it is for a long term. like as furniture, like as plant, right? So these all are our fixed assets. Clear? Now these fixed assets can be divided into two. What are that? Tangible assets and intangible assets. Now what is tangible assets? We can see and we can touch. Means it has a physical existence. Like as furniture, vehicles, equipments, buildings, that and all we can see and we can touch also, right? That has a physical existence. Cash, these all are tangible assets. Now, what about intangible assets? The opposite. Intangible means we cannot see and we cannot touch. Yeah, it has no physical existence, like as goodwill, copyright, patents, trademark, etc. etc. These all are intangible assets. Now we can study detail about tangible assets and intangible assets. Right? Let's see. Now let's see some examples of tangible assets. Tangible assets are assets with a physical existence, right? We can touch them, we can feel them, and we can see them also. So that assets are called tangible assets. So we can say the first example, that is land and building. It's one of the important, one of the main assets of a company, right? So land and building are tangible, long-term assets. Companies use and benefit from over a period of time, right? They are tangible because they have a physical form, isn't it? So land and building we are using for a long period of time. That is why it is a tangible assets. Can you see any difference between land and building? Yes, both are having difference. The main difference is the cost of the land is fixed. If we are purchased it in 2020, then after 2030 also, the land cost may be increased, but it will not decrease. But at the same time, the buildings cost will decrease every time. Means after a few years, the cost of the building is zero, right? So that is the main difference. The cost of the land is fixed. The building's land will be depreciated every year. Clear? Now, second, we can say that the computer, the personal computer, what we are using in our business. So it is a fixed and tangible assets, right? If it is to be used for more than a year to help produce goods that the company will sell. Whatever product we are using, producing and selling, the computer is helping us to produce the goods, marketing our product. That means the computer is helping us in our business. So that is why the computer is our tangible assets. But remember one thing, computer is a tangible assets, but the software, whatever is inside the computer, that is an intangible assets. Clear? The third category, we can see that equipments and machinery. If we are starting a business, running a company, we need so many equipments and machineries are there, right? So that equipment and machineries are purchasing for a long period of time, right? There also it is depreciated every year, but it's also our asset and it is using for a long period of time. We can see the equipment, we can touch it, we can feel it, and it is having physical existence also. So that is why equipment and machinery is also our tangible assets. Clear? Now next example, we can say that plant and machinery. Plant or factory. A factory manufacturing plant or a production plant is an industrial site, right? Often a complex consisting of several buildings filled with machinery where workers manufacture items or operate machines which process each item into another. So it may be a manufacturing plant, it may be a factory, right? This is also the process going for a long period of time. So that is why it's also one of the example of tangible assets, right? Next, furniture. Furniture and fixtures are ladder items of movable equipment that are used to furnish an office, right? What are the examples? Are bookcases, chairs, desks, filing cabinets, and tables, etc., etc. These all are the furnitures that help us for our business. That is also one of the example of tangible assets. Now, next we can see that livestock. What is livestock? If animals are also our assets for the business, yes. If we are having a farm, yeah, if we are having a circus business, then their animals, whatever animals are there, that all animals are our stock, right? That animals are our asset. So that is called the livestock. Means livestock is cattle, horses, poultry, sheep, and small animals bred and raised by an agricultural producer. A farm may raise livestock for sale. When animals are available and held for sale, then it is called a livestock. So livestock is also our one of the example of tangible assets. So here we are explained only 6 examples, but we are having so many examples of tangible assets. That and all we will learn later. Okay. Now I hope you got an idea about tangible assets. Now let's see what is intangible assets. Now let's see some examples of intangible assets. What is an intangible assets? That is assets we cannot see, we cannot touch, and it has no physical existence, right? That assets are called intangible assets. One of the most important example is computer software. What is a computer software? Computer software means the instructions that it tells a computer what to do, right? So you know already about computer software, isn't it? Whatever is installed inside the computer, like as Excel, PowerPoint, MS Office, Access, these all are computer softwares. You can see it, but you cannot touch it, right? So even the games are there in our mobile or any applications, that is also a kind of computer software, isn't it? So how could we say that these softwares are assets? Because these softwares are helping us for our work, right? It's supporting us. In our business, means now this online teaching, here also we are using some applications. So yeah, some softwares, right? That help us to taking classes. Or software that is purchased by a firm, that means some criteria can be treated as an intangible assets. Yeah, we can say that these software have estimated useful lives of 2 years or more than that. Then we can say that it's an intangible assets. They are not intended for sale in the ordinary case, right? They are using or considering for the benefit or support of the business activities. Then we can say that it is an intangible assets. If you have owned the software, like as who made MS Word, yeah, and Windows, Bill Gates, right? So this MS Word and Windows are the assets of Bill Gates. And like as Facebook, who has made Mark Zuckerberg, right? So Facebook is a software that is his assets. It means either you have to own it or you have to purchase the software legally from the market. Either own it or legally you should purchase it from the owner. Then we can say that the software is our asset. Clear? Computer is a tangible assets, but computer software is an intangible assets. Clear? Now let's see next example. Next example is trademark. You can see that in big business or big companies, they are having their own logo, their own sign or their own symbol, right? You can see already I have given few logos are there. These all are vehicles logo. First one, can you see that is the symbol of Mercedes, right? Next one is Ford, then Hyundai. This and all, by seeing the picture here, by seeing the logo, we can say the company, right? It's a common logos, isn't it? Are you thinking that any automobile company can use this logo? Means Mercedes logo can use Ford? Yeah, Ford's logo can use Hyundai? No. Is it possible? No, because it's registered with the name of the particular company, right? So other people, yeah, other companies cannot use the trademark, yeah, the symbol of any registered company's logo. If you are having any business and you have a trademark and it has a very good value in the market, means with this logo your business is identifying with the logo, right? So if you are getting an identification by your logo, it's a benefit for your business, isn't it? So therefore we can say that trademark is a asset. Even more of a product that is means differentiate from other product. Or one more thing is there another company cannot use the similar logos or even similar looking brand name also. That is why trademark is an asset for the company. Clear? Now let's see third point, that is copyright. Just take your textbook and see the first year, second page in left side corner. It is written as with a symbol C, circled it. In the circle C is written there, right? So there it is written all rights reserved. Clear? It means that if you are using T.S. Grewal's books, that is double entry bookkeeping, T.S. Grewal is the author of the book. And the copyright of this book is with T.S. Grewal, right? Anybody cannot copy the content of the book and cannot make his own name. Legally, the right is with T.S. Grewal, right? Yes. One more thing is there. If he want to sell this copy, means this copyright to someone else with an attractive amount, right? He can sell it. So copyright is an asset for him. So it has some value and you can sell it in the market also, right? So that is why it is called an asset. Generally, copyright is handling with authors, music directors, etc. Okay, so this is also one of the important example of intangible assets. Copyright. Copyright we cannot see, we cannot touch it also. It has no physical existence. So that is why it's an intangible asset. Now, next example, we can see that patent. A patent gives an inventors the right to stop other people making or using their inventions. Means a patent is a legal license granting its holder the exclusive right to make, use, or sell a specific invention. There are three types of patents: utility patent, design patent, and plant patents. These all are we will discuss in later. Now we don't want to know these all detail, right? So we know that means what is patent? Patent is a asset. It's an intangible asset because we cannot see, we cannot touch, and it has no physical existence also. But this patent is having a legal license and it has some value. So that is why it's an asset. Means the writing of an author, the book is his assets. If he is selling it in the market, yeah, if he is giving this right to one another person, then he will get an attractive amount. So that is why it is called an asset. Clear? Now, last and the most important intangible asset, that is goodwill. So here we are hearing few names. Means just to see some largest and leading companies, best few companies in India. We can see that means a Tata Group, Reliance, ONGC, Wipro, Infosys, Adani Groups, Mahindra, Indian Oil Corporation. These all we means in day-to-day life we are hearing these names, right? By name only we know the position of the company in the world, right? So goodwill includes the value of company's brand name or solid customer base, good customer relation, good employee relation, etc., etc. So goodwill is an intangible assets that is associated with the purchase of one company by another, right? Goodwill can be sold or purchased with the entire business. Means it is valuable only when entire business is sold or purchased. Goodwill is calculated by taking the purchase price of a company and subtracted the difference between the fair market value of the assets and liabilities. That we will learn later. Okay. So, goodwill is the excess of the purchase price paid for an acquired firm over the fair value of its separate identifiable net assets. Clear? So, these all are the main examples of intangible assets. Clear? Only in intangible assets we can see this five category only: computer software, trademark, copyright, patent, goodwill, this and all. Okay. I hope you clear what is intangible assets and what are the examples of intangible assets. Now we can see the current assets in next slide. Okay. Now let's see our next category of assets, that is current assets. In the starting, we already discussed that the assets can be divided mainly into three: non-current assets, current assets, and fictitious assets. Current assets we are going to learn. Non-current assets we already discussed. Now it's the time of current assets. Okay, current means it's a short period of time. So, what do you mean by current assets? A current asset is an asset that a company holds and can be easily sold or consumed and further lead to the conversion of liquid cash. For a company, a current asset is an important factor as it gives them a space to use the money on a day-to-day basis and clear the current business expenses. In other words, the meaning of current assets can be explained as an asset that is expected to last only for a year or less. It considered as current assets. Clear? Means it is related with cash and cash equivalent assets, and the uses are coming within a year. Yeah, within a period of 1 year. So that is called the current assets. So what are the types of current assets? Cash and cash equivalent, inventory, ongoing projects, prepaid expenses, account receivable, marketable securities. These all are the examples of current assets. Now, what are the uses of current assets? Current assets can be used as clear regular payments and bills, right? It gives an insight into the company's cash and liquid positions. Investors and creditors analyze the company's current assets closely to understand the risk or benefit involved in the operation, isn't it? So day-to-day business means current asset is helping the business day-to-day activities. That also one of the main important. So we understood that what is current assets and what are the examples of current assets, right? So here examples we can say that cash and deposits, that is also short period deposit within a year, that is current assets. And debtors, accounts receivable, that is also debtors also within 3 months, yeah, within a short period of time. So that is also current assets. Now short term investments, prepaid expenses means that is insurance, yeah, contractors, etc. That and all are current assets. Now inventory means a stock, that would be our raw material may be there, yeah, work in progress items are there, yeah, finished goods. These all are stocks, that is our current assets. Means this we are keeping for a period of 1 year, not more than that. Stock and all means we have to finish this finished goods also we have to sell it out within a year, right? So that is why these all are current assets. So current assets is either cash or an asset that can be sold. Yeah, example stock that can be converted into cash within a year. So that is called current assets. So here we are winding up this session. If you are having any doubt, you can discuss with me. right? Through a message. So please subscribe and share it. Thank you.